Yes, it's that time again. Another Friday, another unboxing video. This time it's only 2 boxes, but I think the second one may be rather interesting. I say may because I don't know what's in it. We'll get to that in a moment. This one on top, I do know what's in here. I bought it off of eBay. It should be a new old stock Philco 10-inch universal replacement speaker, field coil type. Now I don't need it for any of my Philcos. What I hope to use it in is this, my RCA 222. For quite some time I've been looking for a speaker for this radio. So when I got it, it came in a cabinet with the legs chopped off, no speaker. Since then, somewhat recently, I got this cabinet complete with legs, but still no speaker. I've posted wanted to buy ads for some time, trying to find a speaker for it, with no luck. Find an original speaker. I also have dug up some potential speakers. I got an RCA 12-inch, but I think it's a little too beefy. It doesn't fit in there quite right. And I got a 10-inch, but it's older than this, and it's kind of not the greatest speaker. So I'm hoping this will work out all right. If not, I may use it in a Philco someday. It's certainly in fine condition. Like I said, new old stock, never been used. Not sure when it's made. I mean, I imagine it would work in something like this 1932 15DX, but it's got to be much newer than that. You can see it's got the newer type spider on it, with the dust cover over the voice coil hole there, and it's got modern plastic wiring on it. Alright, so as you can see, that will fit in there just right, because this radio originally had a 10-inch speaker in it. The only trick will be, well, 2 things. 1, how to mount it. And 2, will this work right? Is it the right impedance? I don't know, because the only service info I can find for this 222 does not show the field coil or voice coil impedance. It just gives you a part number. I've searched that part number. I can't find any info out about it. It's probably, maybe, in the RCA Red Book of service info. I don't have it for the 1932 model year. Or perhaps somebody had a detailed parts catalog. It might list the info given that part number. I don't know. But for now, I've got that speaker. Alright, so this box. This came from a Video Karma member. Out of the blue. I posted some photos of my recent GE 210 little AM/FM Bakelite Friday night restoration project, and he said he had a few of these, and he said it was something that he thought would help me complete some of my long outstanding projects. I have no clue what it is, other than it's very heavy, as he said it would be, about 30 pounds, and all the weight's concentrated in one corner, it seems. So, I can't really imagine what I would need other than time and maybe some spare parts that would help me finish any of my outstanding projects. So, oh, and he said this to me for free, which was super, super nice of him. Of course, I say that without knowing what it is. Hoping it's not a bomb or something, but no, I'm sure it's not. Okay. Nice. Right, thanks. Okay, I guess these are just in there for some cushioning. Oh, okay, I know what that is. Yeah, there was definitely a time when this would have saved me a ton of effort. This is power supply for a Radial 18 or the Brunswick 5KR that I restored, where I spent an insane amount of time removing the corrosion and repainting mine. And yeah, if I'd had this, I definitely would not have spent so much time on mine, that is for sure. And this, I'm not quite sure why I've got this tubing. Unless it's heat-shrink tubing, maybe. Maybe I commented I needed this in one of my videos. I'm not sure. But, alright. So yeah, it's funny because, yeah, I have seen these for sale now and then on eBay, but it never occurred to me to pick one up that, you know, would save me time. Yeah, so it's cool. It's cool. I don't have a Radial 18 to restore right now, but I do have my Westinghouse WR8, and I've got a Radial 80, I think, which may use some similar parts. Not that I intend to part this out, but yeah, thanks for this. Yeah, I'm sure I'll find a use for that sometime down the road. Well, it's going to be a short one because that's all I've got right now is just these two boxes. Well, no, that's not quite true. Let's expand this video a little bit. I do have some other items I picked up, but they weren't shipped to me or anything. I went to a buddy's place who I've done some work for in the past, and he's moving, and he needed to unload some stuff, so I came home with a car full of stuff. So what the heck. I've got one box inside, the rest are out in the garage, so I'll start recording some footage on that stuff, I guess. Oh, hang on. I guess I should have actually opened up the envelope and read what was inside. So he's thinking I can use this to build a battery eliminator, which, yes, it's funny. My projects have been so long outstanding, I forgot that I needed to build one. Yeah, for my Filco 643 and 235. Both farm radios, at any rate. And I need to build a battery eliminator for them. And as he said, Radial 18 or Brunswick 5KR. Okay, here's R's thoughts for the rubber tubing. Oh yeah, I have no doubt I can find some use for it. I'm always needing to cushion things. Alright, well, once again, thank you. That was very nice of you, and I'm glad I read this because, yeah, it hadn't occurred to me that, sure, this could be used for a battery eliminator, because that's what this is. This is a standalone power supply. Hook up, it's got a nice power switch here too, because a lot of stuff from this vintage was meant for lower line voltages, but these can actually, if you throw the switching, use 125 volts, like you get out of a more modern house wiring and power grid. And you pop an 80 rectifier tube in here, and I forget what all voltages, but you get various taps here for the filament, and several B plus voltages, and I imagine there's a negative bias voltage on here too. So yeah, I'm sure this could be made into a rather nice battery eliminator. Here we go with the next box. It is filled with tubes, and more tubes. I believe they're all new old stock, and mostly series strong TV tubes. So I'm sure I will find some tubes in here I can use in some of my newer TVs, which is cool because I've struggled to do some of them because most of my tube stash is for older TVs from the 40s and early 50s, so when I get into late 50s, early 60s TVs, I've actually had to order some up, but I'm sure I will find lots of tubes in here for those types of TVs. So that'll be fun to sort through. I've moved out to the garage to take a look at the last few boxes I brought home. As I recall, this one has a hodgepodge in it. Got some nice caps. No doubt I'll find a use for those. This 5U4 rectifier. Some not so new caps. Maybe use them for restuffing someday. More little caps. Oh, those blue metal film resistors. I'm low on some of these values, so find some goodies in there. Some kind of old game. Or not that old game, I should say. Tubes. Looks like part of a radio. An All-American 5 type radio or something. Salvage some parts from that. More bags of resistors. And more resistors and more resistors and more capacitors. So lots of good parts in there, I'm sure. Let's see. And then in here, a cheater cord. Yeah, that's why I wanted this. So hard to come by these days. Just haven't made them in a long time. A little mushed up, but still better than nothing. And more tubes and more parts. Goodies. And in here, a whole lot more tubes. Not new old stock, obviously. But let's see. 6HJ8. 6AQ5, yeah, audio output. 6AW8, yeah, these are the types of tubes I use, that's for sure. Philco Cool chassis. 2AF4 for UHF tuner. TV. 6BK7. I think these are some tuners, and I've seen them in test equipment. 6AG5, I go through a lot of these in TVs for RF and IF amps. 6AF4, another UHF oscillator. So yeah, more tubes to go through. Alright, now one last item. This guy, which is the TV. And not just any TV. It's another one of those GE Slimline coaxial TVs. You may have seen photos or my videos on one in a Danish Modern cabinet that I'm just about done restoring. This one I think is 1 or 2 years later. It's obviously a different cabinet style, but still has a gigantic speaker. So there's a little like 4-inch tweeter or mid-range speaker here and then a giant woofer around it. And it's got a 21-inch high deflection angle CRT, so it's in a skinny cabinet. This chassis should be very similar to mine. I think mine is an M4, this is probably an M5. Controls are mine are vertically, this one they're horizontal. But there's one very significant difference between this and mine, which is that. Power tuning. This works off a remote control. And not just any remote control. I'll turn this around and show you what I'm talking about. Here's a look at the rear of the set. It has a metal back, just like my other coaxial set. Model 21C3461. Similar controls, except this has a phono in and a speaker, phono TV. Huh, I haven't seen that before. I guess you could use just the speaker and amplifier off of a phonograph. Nice touch. And mine certainly doesn't, my other one certainly doesn't have this, which is remote. On and off. And that is the remote unit. And the giant speaker. Now, there were certainly other TVs that had remote controls in this era. There were wired remotes, and there were the ultrasonic clicky remotes. What this used, though, is RF, radio frequency. I imagine that's what this wire is going around the back of the cabinet. It's for the RF pickup. So, I believe this was the first and possibly the only RF TV remote control. Just notice this bar thing down here too. I'm not sure what that's about. So this wiring harness would go up to some motors up inside. And this looks like it might be a servo, maybe for volume. Now here is the bad part. I don't have the remote control. They kind of look like garage door openers, and I'm going to include a photo on the off chance that somebody out there has got one that they would part with. I have seen two show up on eBay. One will look like it was brand new and sold for quite a bit. Another one more recently just escaped my fingers. So they are out there, and maybe one day I will come across one. Just haven't been lucky to yet. Now I gotta take a little pause here, because I just noticed there's a gigantic spider in the window here. I've never seen one quite like that before. Hopefully it's not super poisonous or anything. That is creepy. Alright, back to the TV. Now, I do know this works, because he's had it operating, and then I told him, please don't run it anymore. But I've seen photos, and it actually looked to work pretty well. So, yeah, it's a little bit newer set, so 61, so it's not quite as ancient as some of those sets I work on the 40s, so, you know. The newer the set, the more likely it is to run without restoration, but I definitely would like to go over this and completely overhaul it. And assuming this uses the picture tube I think it uses, I actually have a spare, either a rebuild or new old stock. So I should keep this set running for a long time. I just really hope I can find the remote. Now, when will I get to this? I don't know. Winter's coming and space is at a premium, so I may have to just put this into storage for the time being. Which isn't too bad, because this has caster wheels on it, and it fits into my car nicely, so I can just pop it in my car and take it over to the storage unit for the next few months, but rest assured I will get to it eventually. Alright, that's all the stuff I've got for today. I hope you enjoyed this latest unboxing video with a little bit of bonus TV footage.